Hello everyone, and welcome to this yet another exciting video on the analysis of Kalindula fusion music. We'll continue looking at the song Chimbayambaya, the song that was done by PK or Professor PK Chishala. And before I go any further, I just want to thank you all for the wonderful comments that I've received. They're very encouraging, and it's interesting to know that a lot of people out there are supporting the work that we are doing here. And my passion for Kalindula fusion music is that we need to preserve this music, because if we don't, it will die, because this music is our identity. And a lot of questions were asked, why Chimbayambaya? And I want to state here that Chimbayambaya is probably considered as one of the standards in Kalindula fusion music. Just like we have standards in jazz, this is the music that has been passed on from generation to generation, and this is music that has been studied. And if you want to study jazz, you look at these standards. And the same thing that we're trying to do is to get these standards in Kalindula music and begin to look at them and analyze them, so that we can get the ideas that were used, so that these ideas can be passed on to the next crop of musicians. First and foremost, I want to also make it clear that the book will be out as soon as possible. We're trying to make everything within our powers to see to it that the book is out in the second week of April. So those that have been asking about the book, I want to assure you that it will be out in the second week or third week of April, thereabout. And we'll get you informed as you continue trying to visit my YouTube channel. And today, we'll continue looking at the song Chimbayambaya, just like I said. Now, this time we'll concentrate on the verse, and we'll probably touch the pre-chorus as well, but mostly the verse. We're going to see a lot of ideas that were used by PK Chishala in this music. And we're going to see the link between traditional Kalindula music and Kalindula fusion music. And we'll also probably see the influence of traditional dancers such as Imfunkutu on Kalindula fusion music. And please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. So what you heard was the verse plus the intro. And PK Chishala maintains the same ideas that he introduced, and in the first part of the verse, he continues with the same ideas in the first part of the verse, because he understands that he has introduced something and it must continue in the verse as he sings, so that the people are familiar with these ideas. And what are these ideas? It's the same ideas that we talked about last time: the bass moving, and the lead guitar also playing. Whilst the rhythm guitar maintains or fills the song with the chords. So PK Chishala sings to this chord progression and the bass moving, giving that forward movement, and the lead guitar on top supporting that movement. But last time we talked about the bass as having the inspiration or imitating the turning of the wheel. Actually, this is called sensele because it borrows the idea from the sensele drum found or played in Mfunkutu dance of the Bemba people. I'll try and demonstrate this on the drum. So we have that drum playing, sensele, 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 and that's what the bass imitates. Sensele, 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 sensele. So this is referred to as the sensele bass line. Most of the traditional or those that have played Kalindula will tell you that this imitates the sensele drum. And that's what the bass guitar does. He plays that drum imitating, or the rhythm imitating the drum. And as you can see, that's how we write the rhythm of sensele. And the other part is the rhythm played by the bass guitar. And if you can see, the first part is the sensele imitation, but then the other part is a rearrangement of the sensele drum pattern. So this is where the bass gets its inspiration from the traditional dance in Mfunkutu. This is now we see how Mfunkutu influences the bass guitar in the song. But today we're going to concentrate on the last part of the verse. This is where PK Chishala now brings traditional Kalindula and Kalindula fusion together by fusing the ideas. I want you to listen to this last part of the verse, and then we can talk about it. If you listen carefully, one thing you'll notice is that the chord progression has changed. What now PK Chishala is playing is a chord progression known as 4-5-1. 4-5-1. This is a very important progression in traditional Kalindula as well. This is what gives the Kalindula that traditional feel because it's a 4-5-1 progression, and it is used a lot in traditional Kalindula music, and that's what PK Chishala plays. And by 4-5-1, what we mean is, if you're on the scale of C, your chord 4 will be built on the 4th degree of the scale. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you build a chord there, it is called 4, chord 4. And then if you build a chord on the 5th degree of the scale, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that becomes chord 5. So chord 4, chord 5, and then chord 1. So these are the chords that PK Chishala plays.
chord 4, 5, 1. The technical name for these chords is 4 is known as the subdominant chord. Chord 5 is known as the dominant chord. And chord 1 is known as the tonic chord. So, subdominant chord, tonic chord, or dominant chord, then tonic chord. So the fifth is called the dominant chord, then tonic chord. And these are the chords that he uses. I want to play alongside this song so that you can hear these chord 4, 5, 1 being played. That's 4. That's 4. That's 5. Back to 4. That's 4. Verse 2 on 4. He moves to a 5, then to 1. So that was chord 4, 5, 1. This is very common in traditional Kalindula. You hear it all the time being played, especially the Kalindula that comes from Luapula province, Northern province, and Muchinga province. This is what gives that characteristic of the Bemba tradition, 4, 5, 1. And we're going to hear this played by a song played by Sansamukane Jazz Band, and these guys play traditional Kalindula, and they're going to the song that we'll listen to is a song called Weshamo Lyabamayo, and it is in D major. So these guys are in D. So we need to identify chord 4, 5 in D. So if we start, remember the 4th degree of the scale gives you chord 4. The 5th degree of the scale gives you chord 5. So we start 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have chord 4 or the subdominant. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chord 5, the dominant chord. So 4 subdominant, 5 dominant, back to the tonic, which is 1. So Weshamo Lyabamayo is in the scale of D. We just want to see whether this is really true. 4, 5, 1 being a most common progression in Kalindula. It's the one that defines Kalindula. People say Kalindula is a 4, 5, 1 progression. We're going to play another song that is done by Sansamukane Jazz Band. And this song is entitled Weshamo Lyabamayo. We want to identify chord 4, 5, 1 progression in this song. That's 1. That's 4. That's 5. That's 1. That's 4. That's 5. That's 4. Let's sit on a 4. So like PK Chishala, they're sitting on a 4. Then 5. 4, which is the subdominant. So you see, the same chord progression that PK Chishala uses, the 4-5-1, is also the one that Sansamken Jazz Band, who plays the traditional Kalindula, they use. So this progression is very, very common and very important for Kalindula that comes from Muchinga, Luapula, and Northern Province. Let me just say, very common amongst the Bemba-speaking people. So if you listen to the bass, I want you to listen to the bass. We're going to play that song again, and I want you to listen to the bass and what the bass player does in this song. So listen. This is PK Chishala at his best. So what it does is, what PK Chishala does now, as he plays the 4-5-1 progression, the bass plays a different rhythm. It plays a syncopation, and this syncopation is inspired by yet another traditional drum called itumba. Itumba. So this traditional drum inspires this syncopation. And what does he play, or what did he play? He played something like. So this rhythm comes from the long short rhythm. It's a very common rhythm in most of the Zambian traditional dances. What the difference is only the speed. Some dances they play it fast. In other dances they play it slow. And that's why next time I'll do a video or a lesson about the Kalindula from Northwestern Province or from Serenje Kalindula. We're going to listen to this bass line. It's very, very common. The Bembas, most Kalindula players from Northern Province, Luapula Province, and Chinga Province will call this as Itumba. So what you heard was the long short drum, and this is the bass plays that long short. What the bass is playing is just playing the short part of the rhythm. This is why you get an additional rhythm of It is all inspired by the long, short rhythm. So this is what PK Chishala does. And this is why you see the brilliance or the genius at work. And that's why we need to celebrate this man and what he contributed to the music. The Zambian music, that's the traditional Zambian music, Kalindula fusion music, that's what I'm talking about. He knew what he wanted in the song. He was not just putting up ideas haphazardly. He knew what he was doing and what he wanted in the song. He knows that he's sitting on the traditional Kalindula ideas, and even his the words in the message changes. What he's talking about changes because you see, Kalindula, traditional Kalindula music has its roots in dirges, that is in funeral songs, the funeral songs of the Bemba speaking people. That's where the root of Kalindula comes from. And that's why that's the reason why you hear most of the Kalindula songs have this funeral or death message, because most Kalindula songs are sung at the funeral. These are like dirges, okay? And now PK Chishala also changes the message. He talks about death. If you heard the song that we played earlier on by Sansamken Jazz Band, they were also talking about death. And now PK Chishala knows that he's sitting on this traditional Kalindula. Even his message changes. He talks about Njafweni Ichibonga, which means help me sing this funeral song. And that's what he does. So this man knew exactly what he was doing, because these ideas, he knew that this is traditional Kalindula, and everything, the chord progression 4-5-1, and the bass also plays the itumba, and you see the influence of traditional dance and also traditional Kalindula into fusion, Kalindula fusion. I want to leave you with the song. Please listen to it from the intro to the verse and to the part that we have just analyzed. As we go through these ideas, I want you to see how these ideas are playing in the song as the song builds up to the climax, which we'll do later on in the videos that will come. So listen to the song, and I want to thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Chikashiani nebone chimbamunge